Hello, everyone. So today we have a student from who's actually just recently got admitted into the University of Michigan. His name is Ethan. So Ethan, can you go ahead and just introduce yourself?
All right. Hi, guys. My name's Ethan Huang. I graduated last year, class of 2019 from Arcadia High School. Like Christian said, I recently got admitted to University of Michigan for my first year. This year, actually, this school year, I attended PCC and with hopes of transferring, and it turned out successful. So yeah, I'll be heading to University of Michigan in the fall.
All right, awesome. And so Ethan, if I'm correct, you are going to be going into University of Michigan's nursing program. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I'm
So
majoring in nursing. Yeah.
yeah, so I was just wondering, like, specifically, what made you want to, major in nursing?
So there were definitely like a lot of factors. The first was my ability to make an impact in other people's lives. My grandma is a nurse, so I kind of took inspiration from her. Um, she has dementia, so that kind of pushed me towards doing um, some volunteering in high school geared towards healthcare and helping people out with dementia. Um, and yeah, basically from volunteering, I was able to find nursing as a calling for me to pursue as a major. There are some other factors such as like job stability. Basically, you can't get laid off from being a nurse. Like if if you choose to work at another hospital, you can basically do that. You can like switch between different hospitals, and there are very flexible hours. You can work as much or as little as you want. Um, and lastly, there was probably the pay. The nurses get paid really well. So um, yeah, those were the type of factors that I had to keep in mind.
Awesome. And I just had a quick question. I feel like a lot of people in general, especially I think personally for me, when I was talking to other students, a lot of them associate nursing or becoming a nurse typically to the female gender in itself, or like, in that category. Do you think that
Mhm.
being a male going into the nursing industry, which is something that's not as common, like how do you perceive that? Like what's your own opinion about it?
I honestly, I have Asian grandparents, and when I told them that I was going into nursing, they were pretty surprised, especially my grandma, who is a nurse.
Yeah.
But for me, I really don't care, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was more like I felt like the nursing career just fit my values. Like I wanted to help people out. Um, I believe in I believe that working in a career that serves a greater good in one's community is really beneficial, and it'll probably provide me the most gratification later in life. So I wasn't too concerned about what other people thought. Um, for the most part, you know, nursing has become a lot more popular among males too. So it's growing. There are more males that are thinking of becoming a nurse. So
All right. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. I think it's really one thing to put out there. I feel like a lot of students, they don't really consider nursing as much, comparison to like, doctors and being like a physician assistant and whatnot. But I think it's something definitely that hopefully through your like, conversation here that we can figure out to get more people to actually look into nursing. So, you being just recently getting to University of Michigan. So first, I mean, first and foremost, congratulations on that. I mean, it was definitely a reflection of all your hard work. I just
thank
want
you.
to say though, what was personally your reasons for attending community college first, before transferring into Michigan?
So basically what happened was senior year of high school, there's the renowned college admissions process where you have to apply to all these different colleges and stuff.
Mhm.
So going into it, there's people that apply to like several different colleges, and they just like kind of yeet it. Like they try to see what college is the best college they can get into. For me, it was a little different. I was like pretty specific about what colleges I wanted to attend. Um, so University of Michigan, I actually learned about it early in senior year. Um, Pretty late actually, later than I should have learned of it. Um, but yeah, I wanted to attend University of Michigan like straight. Like I knew I wanted to attend University of Michigan like early senior year. Um, and if I didn't get in, then I would attend Pasadena City College.
Oh,
And so what happened was initially I didn't get in out of the senior year. It's like it's pretty competitive,
yeah.
but it is what it is. So I decided to just pick myself up, go to suck it up, and go to community college for a year, and then transfer to the school of my dreams. So that's what ended up happening.
All right. Yeah. I mean, no, that's an awesome story. And, I feel like I think both of us can speak on this. I think typically I want to touch up on this kind of like the Asian stereotype. I think both of us can relate to this. Where do you ever feel like there was this pressure from like Asian parents or like the Asian community that community college was considered bad? Like it was considered the place, quote unquote, where poor and dumb people go. Like, how do you think your perception of community college has changed? Or like, what's your opinion on this?
Um, hmm, Good question. I think community college is getting like more popular
Yeah.
nowadays. Um, I think, you know, maybe within the next decade or so, the stigma will probably, continue to lower. I think it's just that people they don't take into account like finances as much, and they're more concerned with like how other people perceive them to be. Um, like straight out of high school, everyone, this, but like Arcadia is like pretty competitive school. Everyone
Yeah.
wants to get into top universities and stuff like that. So usually community college is like their last resort if they haven't gotten accepted to so and so college or the college that they've always wanted to go, then they would go to community college. I think it's just looked down upon because it's not the traditional, 4-year experience, but there are also a lot of benefits that people overlook, and that's what I think people should take advantage of if they do consider community college.
Yeah, I mean, speak going on to like those benefits that you're mentioning, like what would you say have been the biggest benefits for you attending community college first, rather than going to, straight into like a public or private 4-year university?
There were a lot of factors actually. So I didn't apply to that many colleges at a senior year.
Mm.
I only applied to a couple of them just because I was so focused on attending Michigan. But um, when I was thinking about applying to PCC, usually everyone gets in, so that's like number one. Like you don't have to worry about admissions rates getting denied or whatever. You're basically guaranteed a spot as long as you fill out the application work online. Um, it's also it's really cheap. So basically, my first year was free. Like everything was free. All the credits that I took.
Mhm.
Um, I from summer to now, I'll have 39 units that I took at a community college. So that's a lot for 1 year.
Sure.
So I saved a ton of money through that route. Another aspect was community college being close to home. I think if I would have got admitted straight out of high school to Michigan, it would probably be harder for me to adjust just because it's like a different environment and like, the academic rigors of Michigan and just kind of adjusting the college life on your own. So I guess community college kind of gave me that better transition to get to know how college life works out, how to schedule your day so you get your stuff done, study for tests in college. It's a transition from high school because you don't have everything planned out to you like high school and college. So and then there were also the professors. So I did my research before attending community college. Um, One of the aspects that really stood out to me was the professors.
Uh-huh.
They actually they really want to see you succeed, and they're really passionate about teaching their students and making meaningful connections with them. So that's what I really like. The classes are pretty small, so that
Mm.
was another factor. Usually in like public universities, the lectures are pretty big with like hundreds of students, but
Yeah.
with community college, it's I think the maximum is like 33 students per classroom or so. So it's like kind of like high school um, in that sense. But also there was the fact that community college is geared towards transferring. That was a big one because I feel like if I attended a 4-year out of senior year, like I would have the goal of transferring throughout my freshman year, which isn't good because I feel like if you attend a school, you should want to make the most out of it, I guess, and like establish yourself among your peers and create meaningful friendships and connections with other people. I feel like if I attended a 4 year, then I wouldn't have done that. So community college, it gave me the focus I needed to transfer to Michigan, and yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, that's amazing. I really, having discussions with you and other students who are going through the community college process, I really want to, like, hopefully be able to break down these stereotypes, not only just the Asian community, but just anyone in general who thinks that the community college route is looked down upon. So I appreciate you telling your story regarding that.
Yeah.
So now I know, obviously, you're going to be going into Michigan this upcoming semester, and given the situation with COVID and whatnot, I mean, we can consider that as a factor. But other than like the current pandemic that's going on, like, do you personally have any concerns or fears, like, what's going to happen once you get into Michigan?
Mm, I mean, as in terms of concerns, probably just making sure I can fend for myself. Um, Michigan is like in the middle but nowhere, so it's kind of hard to reach out to other people, especially like your parents when they're living like halfway across the country. So I think in terms of health would probably be the biggest concern because in high school I didn't have the best health, so that kind of affected my academics a little bit. So hopefully I'll be able to manage it once I get to Michigan as well.
Okay. I mean, do you also worry about, like, the social life you're coming, with being a transfer student and not being like the same 4 year route that many other students probably took? Do you worry about not finding a social life or being able to settle into the environment there?
Well, the thing with Michigan is that they actually, I know this is true for a lot of other schools, they have transfer communities, so it kind of eases the transition for transfer students to transfer in. Luckily, I was able to transfer after freshman year, so with COVID and the fact that I'm transferring after freshman year, it's not too much of a concern, I feel like, because I feel like people are still establishing relationships. People have only had like one semester to kind of find people that they like.
Yeah.
But I going to Michigan, there's some other really great opportunities. There's a program called Changing Gears. It's the undergraduate research opportunity offered at Michigan, where it caters to transfer students. So basically, you're conducting research under professors with other transfer students. So I applied to that and I got accepted to that. So I'm really
Awesome.
happy to be doing that starting the fall.
Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, it's a good thing that you're able to still find ways that, even though being a transfer student and, even though we're at currently remote learning, that you're still able to find those connections and, reach out. So I think that's really great. So
Mhm.
now I want to go, maybe 1 year or a couple months back when we were in high school. We're starting to apply to college, going through this entire college application process. So I just want to hear, like, what was your personal take? Like, if you were to summarize your college application process as a whole, other than what you've already mentioned earlier, like, how would you describe it?
Mm, so I know some other students said this, but I'm also the oldest child in my household.
Uh,
So applying to college was kind of a difficult process, I guess, just trying to figuring out for myself. Um, but it was difficult to kind of like know what to do, especially because I didn't have like a counselor or anyone to like tell me to like do this or do that. But in terms of like the actual application process, it wasn't too hard. Like I knew, oh, you had to apply through the UC application portal or the Common App application portal. That was I was able to do that with ease. It was just putting in the work basically. But in terms of like preparation, um, not to the extent that I wish I had back in high school. Um, just
I mean,
because, oh yeah, go on.
I don't know. Yeah, you can continue first.
Just because like college admissions is so like competitive nowadays.
Hmm.
Um, you want to you want to put yourself in a position that shows yourself in the best light, while doing extracurriculars, doing well on your SAT, having a high GPA. There's a lot of factors that you need to juggle all at once, and you gotta perform high if you want to get into what so and so college, or yeah, it's just there's a lot of things that you have to take into consideration, and you have to prepare for this like well ahead of time. It can't just be a thing where it's like halfway through junior year, oh, I want to attend like this college on a whim, and like your you know your academic credentials don't meet the school standards. So yeah, I definitely think it's something that you need to ask other people about. um in terms for me, like I feel like I really could have talked to more upperclassmen about the college process, because I wasn't too knowledgeable about it back then, back in like junior or like sophomore junior year. Like I started learning more about the college application process probably early junior year. So that's a little late for most people. That's that's pretty late, especially if you want to aim for the top schools that are out there. But yeah.
Okay. So I mean, like, considering that, you just mentioned that you were the eldest child in your family, I mean, applying to college, and then you didn't get as much of an opportunity to talk to upperclassmen. So, like, what was your way of finding out, like, just the general knowledge about college applications or like college in general? Was it like through the internet, through like teachers at school, so or like your own peers or friends? So, how did you like kind of dive into that?
So for me, I kind of like research. I like finding stuff online, like stuff that can like further myself. So I use different websites for the college process. Websites like College Confidential, Unigo. For those of you that don't know, College Confidential is like a forum where they post their stats and extracurriculars, and people try to chance them for particular colleges. So I would use that, in moderation. Don't use it too much. I wouldn't recommend it. But there's some really great sites out there like Naviance. The school provides that, where you can see like where accepted student stats were before getting accepted. Um, just for preparing yourself. There's also Unigo. It's like a student review site where students that actually go to the university answer questions like what's the stereotype of students at this school, or what's the academic atmosphere at this school like, just to kind of get the vibes of the school and see if it's a good fit for you. So I would use that too. um, Arcadia High School, they had some other great resources. I remember one of them when I knew I was going to PCC. There was a PCC alumni panel of Arcadia graduates who went to PCC. Most of them, they spent 2 years actually. They ended up transferring to like UCSB, UC Berkeley, and just getting their perspective on it. Because like I wanted to see like if community college was a possible choice for me, and they seem like normal people, and I wanted to learn more about it. So I attended that, and that helped me a lot when considering what college I would ultimately attend for my freshman year.
All right, that's awesome. I mean, that's definitely a great thing to hear because I know a lot of students they have kind of regrets of not taking advantage of the resources they have. And I don't think it was like a lack of resource per se. I think it was a lack of resourcefulness, not knowing how to use what they were already given. So I think it's great that you're explaining like what at least you had, even though some things didn't go out and you wish you could change a couple things. At least you still were able to make do with what you were given. So going back, obviously you're not at University of Michigan right now, and you spent the entire past year at Pasadena Community College. So what were some extracurriculars you were participating in? Even though you're at community college, it's not the conventional for your university. Like, what were you participating in back at your time in PCC?
So at PCC, with the plan towards transferring after a year, I knew I had to get the strongest grades possible,
Mm.
and at the same time, have strong extracurriculars to apply. So some of the things that I did, I was a part of a club on school. It was called Caduceus Club. It's basically a club geared towards pre-meds where they would help you professionally. You know, you get to learn from actual healthcare professionals that show up and they speak about their experiences. And they offer like a bunch of like volunteer events you can go to, like blood drives and whatnot. So I was a part of that pre-med club. I tried to do more stuff outside. A lot of the extracurriculars offered at community colleges aren't the strongest. So I chose to volunteer at a nursing home, and that's where I worked with patients, elderly patients, and I would basically provide companionship for them. And the third thing I did was I just worked a part-time job to pay for some of my tuition once I would start at Michigan, because I knew you know, Michigan's like an expensive out-of-state school, so whatever I could do to, you know, pay off the costs. I basically just worked at a boba shop, and yeah, that was that.
Okay. And I guess, just to wrap up the entire video, like if you could give any advice to high school students, whether that be for applying to college or like what to expect when they go into college, what would your advice be?
Okay, so the first thing, the most important thing is probably research early, plan early. I would start as early as freshman year. I know that you know, freshman year may sound really, really early, but you know, the college admissions process itself is pretty brutal. There's really
Yeah.
competitive people out there, so you gotta start as soon as possible if you want to get into whatever so and so college that you want to get into. You know, use online as a resource. You know, the internet has so many great websites out there for you to use. You know, if you take advantage of sites like College Confidential, Uniglo, Naviance, or these sites can provide you like so much insight of what and what not to do when, you know, applying to college. Um, and just like it's just the little things, you know, it's like these sites give you like tips and stuff, and you can use them to your advantage. Like these little tips, they just add up. Things you should know. It really helps in the college process. The third thing would probably be to talk to upperclassmen, or you know, more preferably alumni who have gone through the college process already. Just because they know everything, they know most of the things that are relevant to the college process, and things that they went through they went they went through the entire process, and they know you know, the mistakes they made, and what they could have done to improve upon that, and they can probably provide you with the insight you need to put yourself in the best light. um, and then the last things probably, um, I guess, in the college admissions process, don't compare yourself to other people. Just do the best you can. I know it's easy to do that, um, especially in high school where you're pretty like self-aware, and yeah, just do it for yourself. Don't try to prove others wrong, I guess. Don't try to just online. Just don't compare yourself with others. Just do the best you can. Um, yeah, pretty much it.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ethan, for spending your time to help these students understand, especially your story, I think in particular, relating to the community college process and being able to transfer, and you being, an example of someone who's able to successfully transfer into a prestigious school and a pretty prestigious program as well. So we want to thank you so much for that.
All right, cool.
Yeah, awesome. So everyone, I hope you guys took some value from this video. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.